don't we start with wrestling? How was wrestling on Saturday? Friday?
Friday. Penn State's just so good, it's not even funny. Like, I mean, yeah, it's crazy how good they are. I mean, I like that stat that I kind of trotted out last week about Penn State winning 6 times in the first 33 meetings with Iowa, and now they've won. It might be 8 of 10 now, depending on when the run started. It wasn't uncompetitive, but it was uncompetitive. Like, they're just so much better than everybody else.
We had it on TV, and it was the background noise for the most part. I would say.
Yeah, they've just taken the drama out of it, in terms of how good they are, which is great for them. And the sport's gonna catch up, right? Like their program. There's gonna be at some point the run will end, I assume, but it's not gonna be this year.
I think the thing that stood out for me, and I think it stood out for everybody, of course, is the Tyler Kasich moment where he picked the guy up and saluted and
just kind of ran the
blood pouring down his face. That stood out to me. And I think the other thing was kind of how boring it was, which is selfish and obnoxious a little bit. And we've talked that through plenty of times. But no, it was cool to at least see the spotlight for the sport. I think there was a legitimate buzz all day for wrestling people or for really the sport itself. That like the way some friends were texting earlier in the day almost felt more akin to a football game, or the build up to a football game. And I think that's cool to see just how that program is still catching on amongst Penn State fans. You also wrote an article about the wrestling experience. Scale of 1 to 10. How happy was Steve to leave the BJC?
Oh, to leave the BJC?
Or just like how happy were the performance from the BJC?
Inside, they're like a 6.5, 7. Like, it wasn't me.
There's a difference between 6.5, 7.
Okay, but the game's 10. The participation, the people on the mat are a 10.
Okay.
Right? So the things around it, I'll say 7. Like, they didn't do anything wrong. There's just more they could do to make it better. And I haven't been to enough other places for someone in the wrestling world to say, well, geez, we do it better than anyone else. Okay, great. Still not good enough. Like, you could still be better.
So what could they do better?
The biggest thing for me is scoreboards. Because wrestling has a couple different scores going on. It's got a bout score going on, and it's got the match score overall. And you can't, from where we sat, and we have decent seats, the bout score is on the ribbon board. The mat you're looking down at. So it's not in my field of view to see that. It just seems like if they put little scoreboards on the side and the corners of the mats, everything would be within your view. And then the big Jumbotron has a video up top 3 quarters. Then the bottom quarter is the logo for each team, the last name of the respective wrestler, and the weight class in the middle. There's plenty of room there for rankings and record for the individuals. And I guess I really wasn't. I was frustrated initially, wasn't going to write anything about it, but then they introduced the dancing team, the 3-time national champion Lionettes. We couldn't mention one national champion of the wrestlers who were on the mats while they were there. That's all. Like, introduce the wrestlers and tell us a 2-time national champion with a 22-4 record this year and ranked number 2. And it is against the guy who's 12-5 and ranked number 5. Because there were a couple top 5 matchups. And it would have helped for people. I know that it was mostly a wrestling crowd, but I don't believe everybody knew everybody's record and who was ranked where. I just don't believe that. So just serve the fan. That's all.
And I think that makes sense, because as somebody that doesn't know wrestling as well as you do, that would be very helpful information for me. And it is helpful information for me during the telecast. Like that we're getting all of that during the telecast. You're getting, I think the BTN scorebug shows, at minimum, it shows their rank, and then it will intermittently show the overall dual score, but it has the score of the actual bout up there the whole time. I don't know if it shows records, but they at least introduce and say, okay, this is this guy, this is his pedigree. It was helpful context, and I would understand. I think you're right. There's 15,000, 16,000 people in this photo. I'm looking at the picture on the blog right now, And I would say probably 90% of them know what's going on. Maybe 80% of them know what's going on. But I think if I was there, I would want that information, or I would be asking the person next to me, or I'm pulling out my phone. So why not just make it easier for me as a consumer and put it there? Are they showing, like, one of our gripes during football season is they show so many ads on the ribbon boards and really don't make the ribbons boards useful. Was that the case?
No ads. I mean, there was stuff. There was
Normal
actually
ads, I would assume.
normal ads on the ribbon boards. Nothing on the center one. The presenting sponsor had a logo on the mats on one side and not the other, which was interesting to me. Like, go ahead and buy them 2 foot by 3 foot square adhesive things that there's one on each side, so the people on either side can see it. It was interesting that there was only on one side. No, it's not jargoned up. It's not overly sold. It's still a pretty pure wrestling experience as much as it can be, and should be. I just think they could do a better job serving fans. They sell programs at one booth, right? And they cost $2, which is no big deal if you want to get them. I guess the information's probably in there. We didn't get that because we missed it, right? And I wasn't going to go back among the crowd and get them. They do okay, but they are not. I guess the point of what I wrote was that they're not at the level of the team. And I think they could do, for as much as the athletic department was wise enough and timely with whiteout energy in football season, just little touches like that to this presentation. And it's not like they haven't been doing it for 10 years.
Right.
Like, some light bulb should have gone on somewhere along the line. And I get that it's different and you're going to a new arena and it's once a year, but it just seems like it could be better.
Do they do that at Rec Hall?
I haven't gone to Rec Hall when I'm a horrible season ticket holder because I can't go for the blowouts, just bore me. But they haven't. That used to be one of my gripes, is that they didn't do that either. Like, they wouldn't lower the scoreboard. Again, everybody's looking at the center mat and that stuff's not there. It's on the end zone scoreboards. Yeah. So somebody can correct me, but that was my last experience in there, was it was on the end zone scoreboards. All the action's in the middle.
Right.
Do something. And they have tournaments here. Like, they have little stand-up scoreboards that have red and green on them that all wrestling fans know, that would, I don't think it would junk it up. Like, I don't think they had like a blue and white lights around the raised platform, which was kind of neat. But I don't think a scoreboard or two on the mats would junk it up. It would be helpful. It
sounds weird, but even like a TV, like
something.
A TV or a
display,
computer monitor.
Right.
Is what I really mean.
Yep. Great event. It could be. If the wrestlers are a 10, the presentation is not a 10 yet.